I could not say that like generally the war is something that is like the main source of corruption in Ukraine now. There was just one scheme that was very bad, like the scheme of setting tariffs for electricity. And in fact, like the National Commission of Energy and Communal Services was captured by Ahmetov's group with the help of the president, with the help of Poroshenko. And there were different explanations, like some of them showing that president could have personal interest in this scheme as well. And the scheme that is like referred in the Ukrainian media as Rotterdam Plus, in fact means that like when the first problems emerged with supply of coal from uncontrolled territories, not because of the Ukrainian blockade, but because of also blockade and disruptions on the other side, there was a decision made by this National Commission that to guarantee energy security and independence, we need to set the tariff for electricity in a way that each will allow using coal with the price that is similar to price in Rotterdam on their like where they have like the sort of like market index for the price of coal plus transportation to Ukraine. So like if for example those guys stop providing us the coal, then we'll buy this, we will have enough money to buy it elsewhere because it is in the tariff for electricity. But even in the time when it was passed, like all supplies were already restored, and in fact, like what was happening was that, like as I told you before, like all this like supply chain in energy market, like within the tech, is integrated. Then, like Ahmetov just bought the coal from his mines on uncontrolled territories for a very low price, like we could calculate like cost plus, because cost is very low, like salaries are very low there, like rents are practically non-existent for using natural resources. And then like they sold it, they transported it via the separation line and sold it to power stations that then sold the electricity to the electricity market by this very high price that is based on the price of coal as it was bought on the global market with transportation from Rotterdam to Ukraine. So it means that the tech in a moment became very profitable. Like an estimate of one of investment companies is that in second half of 2016, EBITDA of the tech was 12 billion Ukrainian hryvnias, which is how much? It is close to like 400 to 500 million US dollars, which is rather good. And mostly it is based on this one decision on how to calculate the price of electricity. This was devised specifically for the purposes of enriching Ahmetov. So, but the problem is that like when people start debating it, they say, "Oh, it's Ahmetov. Like he is oligarch. He captured the state. He was a friend of Yanukovych. He was financing the Party of Regions." And so, okay, like we don't care whether his property is in his hands or in hands of separatists. Like they are the same. Like they are not enriching us. Like for me, like there is part of logics in it. of logic in it, but there are problems for the Ukrainian economy in any case, because firstly, those enterprises that were located there paid taxes and they brought foreign currency, foreign exchange, which is important to maintain stability of the Ukrainian hryvnia, which is point number one. Point number two is that from what I started, breaking the supply chains could have very negative effect on levels of production and the profitability of production on controlled territories. So, for example, if Akhmetov's companies on uncontrolled territory produce some raw materials for Avdiivka, for example, or for Azovstal and Ilyicha plant in Mariupol, then this chain is broken, then these plants should buy these raw materials elsewhere. And then all this competitive advantage of having this cluster of the diameter of 300 kilometers is lost. So Akhmetov's group has to import raw materials from somewhere, put it on cargo ships, bring to Ukraine, spend a lot of money on it, and it is for sure it will for sure decrease the volume of production there, profitability. It will destroy jobs in controlled territories, both in this producing assets, like on these plants that are producing something, mostly metals, but also it will destroy jobs, management jobs, etc., that also that are not so numerous, but also rather important. So. Plus, it will decrease taxes from this enterprise, from these companies that are on controlled territory, because of the same reason of decrease in production and profitability. So it is just pure economic picture, but I believe that it is also a problem of destroying the basis for the further integration of reintegration of these territories to Ukraine, because if we go back to the source of conflict, this conflict was purely artificial and inspired by in fact Russian guns, and it was rather different even compared to Crimea, because public opinion was very different in Donbass compared to Crimea. Crimea all the time was much more Russophile compared to Donbass. So in fact, even with thousands of liters of blood lost in this conflict, I believe that there could be a chance of pacification and reintegration. But if this blockade is in place, and both economic ties and personal ties will be broken, and these territories will economically and socially move towards Russia, then the probability of losing them forever significantly increase for Ukraine.
So I could recap one part, that if this nationalization remains, they actually do start the management, then what this blockade managed to achieve is that in the future Ukraine might actually have to trade with separatists, in reality.
Yeah.